$1.5 million to monitor 4chan posts, and Jannies do it for free. Ting, 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 ting. Gather around, friends. I have an important announcement. We're going to take a look at some of the stuff I found hidden in the Doge database that is now publicly available. I went in there, and I had to unlock the vault. Really think about all of the organizations and people that I have been told about and heard about for so long and knew that there was shady stuff going on. And I typed in a bunch of keywords, did a bunch of searching around, did my research, and here are some of the funniest that I have found. Like, did you know we spent $19.5 million to help Liberia get their people to stop shitting all over the fucking street? I didn't even know that was a problem. But apparently, it's a big problem, big enough to warrant nearly $20 million to help stop it. How many of you watching can even find Liberia on a map? And where are my hill dogs at? Roof, roof, am I right? Now, while I wasn't able to find anything related to Hillary or Bill, I was able to find some stuff on their offspring, Chelsea Clinton. Now, it turns out Chelsea has at least 3 different charities that have received U.S. funding. How much U.S. funding? Oh, not much, really. Only like, I don't know, $100 million worth. Remember, lads, insinuating that this woman become a millionaire by doing something illicit or illegal is totally not okay, alright? That's not what we're saying here. She earned that money, just like how I've earned that bullet that is currently traveling at the speed of sound towards my head. Maybe I'll get lucky and it'll miss me. Then me and Donald Trump would have a lot in common. Speaking of him, pretty sure he just updated his website. Let's go take a look. $1.5 million to advance diversity, equity, and inclusion in Serbia's workplaces and business communities. $70,000 for production of a DEI musical in Ireland. Brilliant. Can we call it Gays on Ice? $2.5 million for electric vehicles for Vietnam, a communist country. $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia? Well, who doesn't want to see Romeo and Juliet? $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. So you're telling me some guy in Peru got paid 10 years' wages to come out with a comic book where the superhero's super ability was to invert their cock? Amazing. $2 million for sex changes and LGBT activism in Guatemala. Isn't that where Sam Hyde said the next Spider-Man was going to be coming from? That Zur was going to be coming to America to open up their own cupcake shop. Sam Hyde must have been the one to approve this idea. He can't keep getting away with it. $6 million to fund tourism in Egypt. Hundreds of thousands of dollars to fund terrorism. Millions of dollars went to the Wuhan lab. You might remember them with smash hits like COVID-19. Hundreds of thousands of dollars to give steak dinners to Al-Qaeda. Funding to print personalized contraceptives, birth control devices in developing countries. Oh, they probably mean Africa. That one's not so bad. I like that idea. Hundreds of millions of dollars to fund irrigation canals, farming equipment, and even fertilizer used to grow poppy, cultivation, and heroin production in Afghanistan to benefit the Taliban. So you're telling me the heroin epidemic... I mean, I already kind of knew this, but... You're telling me the heroin epidemic was literally funded by USAID? That is wild. I thought it was the military. Or, like, the CIA. But I guess not. I guess it was just fucking rabid Democrats. And speaking of rabid Democrats, does anyone remember James Alefantis? You might remember him from a little controversy he got into. Just a little tiny one, known as Pizzagate. Remember that? The owner of Comet Ping Pong? Yeah, it turns out he's the president of something called Transformers Inc., and he received about $300,000 from USAID. I wouldn't look too much into that. You know, unless you like bad things happening to you. This one, when I typed his name in and I actually got a hit on the site, my jaw hit the floor. I was in disbelief. I couldn't believe that I was seeing what I was seeing, and I went and locked my door immediately. And since we're talking about locked doors... let's bring up BLM. How much did BLM get paid by the government? Okay, well, in the grand scheme of things, not as much as everybody else, but that's still a pretty good amount of money, wouldn't you say? I mean, it's more money than I have. But you know who didn't receive a lot of money? Feminist Frequency. Now, I've seen people kind of misled about what is going on with Feminist Frequency, but I'm going to tell you something even funnier. nearly $300,000 from the federal government. That is not, in fact, what happened. No. But do not worry, Gamergaters, because you could still claim that they got money from the government. Only it's a little bit less. It was about $6. How the hell you get $6 from the government? I don't know. I have no clue how you even accomplish that. How, if you're going to get money from the government, I would assume it would be thousands of dollars. You know, it'd be a lot of money. How the fuck do you get $6 goddamn dollars? What application, what paperwork do you have to do to get $6 fucking dollars from the government? Did they apply for a larger one and it was determined that they only deserved $6? I kind of agree with that. I mean, I would probably say zero, but $6, you know, that's kind of being a little too generous, don't you think? But Vivians, don't you worry your pretty little heads, okay? Because you could still claim that Politico was receiving millions of dollars from the federal government while they were writing smear pieces on Gamergate, alright? So you still got that one locked in. But the $6 thing, I think, is way funnier. You should turn that into a meme. Oh, and ignore the $2.5 million thing in case anyone tries to throw that in your face. That actually has something to do with ants. I don't really know why. But apparently there's something in ants that they call a Gamergate, so that has nothing to do with you guys. Sorry to break it to you. Alright, what other crazy shit? What about $35 million to study the effects of fluoride in bottled water? Yeah, that's a real head scratch for that one. Glad somebody's on that. Sleepy Joe gave himself $50,000 for his children's charity. Now, that was probably a mistake, to be fair. It was probably meant to go directly into his bank account, but Alzheimer's is a bitch, so he probably just fucked that one up. Now, these three will probably get me banned off YouTube, so I'm just going to throw it up on screen and say, oy vey, the goyim no, shut it down. Now, this one I'm a personal fan of because, as many of you know, I smoke tobacco. And I've always said that straight men smoke tobacco. So here we have $8 million to see if we could turn low-income blacks into homosexuals through the use of menthol cigarettes and other various flavored vaping products. Alright, this is where I'm going to have to depart from the land of the living, because we're going to talk about dead internet theory now. For those of you who don't know, dead internet theory is the idea that most of the engagement that happens on social media is not actually real people, it is artificial, either AI or bots running, or even just people being paid to pretend to be a person that they aren't really. And through the use of these bots and AI, they are able to artificially bring things into the public consciousness, if you will. They're able to create a feedback loop with this fake engagement in order to propel something into the algorithm. That way it'll be pushed on to real people, and real people will see that this has massive amounts of views and engagement, and with that they're able to make money, push political or cultural agendas, and basically kind of frame the world that you live in online, and tailor public perception to really whatever they want. Now, I've already shown you the 4chan one. I'll put it back up on screen here. It's about $1.5 million. And all the money I'm about to show you is grants. It's federal grants given to hundreds of different organizations that want to push things on the respective social media platforms through what they call awareness campaigns, and or to fight some kind of various intolerance that they claim to want to eradicate. So let's see. About $63 million for YouTube. Twitter, about $58 million. Twitch, about $20 million. Reddit, about $5 million. And Facebook, with a whopping $580 million. And then slap them all together with a vague search of just plain old social media. Because most companies applying for grants to shill online on any of these websites are probably also going to use the term social media in their documents. And wouldn't you know it, it nearly doubles, almost all the way up to $1 billion. And funnily enough, wouldn't you know it, the day after USAID gets shut down, nearly 100 prominent subreddits get taken offline and banned because they are completely unmoderated. Which, I don't know about you, the timing seems a little bit funny on that. If I was a betting man, I would say that perhaps some of that $1 billion was going to Reddit Jannies to censor people, but that might just be an outlandish conspiracy theory. So if you were ever wondering how much the US government was probably going to pay if dead internet theory was a real thing, it's looking like it would be around $1 billion. And To be honest with you, it's probably even more than that because this is just one foundation, one grant institution, and there are plenty of other interest groups that want to make money and also shape the cultural and political landscape of whichever country they so choose. Now, this wouldn't be complete unless I talked about the journos, but this one wasn't found by me. It was found by WikiLeaks. And they're reporting that nearly $500 million went through an organization called Internews Network, which has worked with 4,291 media outlets, producing in 1 year 4,799 hours of broadcasting, reaching up to 778 million people, and training over 9,000 journalists. That's right, it's over 9,000. This is very clearly a prestigious institution. Now, I want you to close your eyes. Think $500 million, training over 9,000 journalists, producing all those hours of content, of journalistic integrity content. And imagine what their office looks like. Oh my god, it must be magnificent. Probably millions of square footage in office space. The lobby has the nicest fountains you've ever seen in your life. Probably has like exotic fish swimming around at the bottom of the fountain. Well, here it is. Here is their registered address. Oh, no, not like this. They've got to be in there, right? I mean, with all that square footage, they could be anywhere. They're probably just shy. They're hiding. I think that's just about gonna do it. Am I forgetting anything? Oh, Globo Homo, of course. 1.5 billion. All right, I'll see you in 2 weeks when I'm finally allowed to upload again.